Kunja Vihare Gokuldham Girivaradha Gopijana Kunja Vihare Kunja Vihare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Jai Gauranga Jaya Jai Gauranga Jai Gauranga Gaurahari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जगत गुरु शील प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, text number 13. अतः पुंभिर्द्विज श्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रम विभागशः स्वानुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम् अतः पुंभिर्द्विज श्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रम विभागशः स्वानुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम् अतः पुंभिर्द्विज श्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रम विभागशः स्वानुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्
अतः पुंभिर्द्विज श्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रम विभागशः धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्
अतः पुंभिर्द्विज श्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रम विभागशः स्वानुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम् अतः पुंभिर्द्विज श्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रम विभागशः अनुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्. Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Ataha, so, Kumbhi, by the human being, Duja Sreshtha, oh best among the twice born. Varnashrama, the institution of four castes and four orders of life. Vibhagashah, by the division of. Swanushthitasya, of one's prescribed duties. Dharmasya, occupational. Shamsiddhi, the highest perfection. Hari, the personality of Godhead. Toshanam, pleasing. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead. Purport: human society all over the world is divided into four castes and four orders of life. The four castes are the intelligent caste, the martial caste, the productive caste, and the laborer caste. These castes are classified in terms of one's work and qualification and not by birth. Then again, there are four orders of life, namely the student life, the householder's life, the retired life, and the devotional life. In the best interest of human society, there must be such divisions of life. Otherwise, no social institution can grow in a healthy state. And in each and every one of the above mentioned divisions of life, the aim must be to please the supreme authority of the personality of Godhead. This institutional function of human society is known as the system of Varnashram Dharma, which is quite natural for the civilized life. The Varnashram institution is constructed to enable one to realize the absolute truth. It is not for artificial domination of one division over another. When the aim of life, that is, realization of the absolute truth, is missed by too much attachment for indriya preeti or sense gratification, as already discussed herein before, the institution of the Varnashrama is utilized by the selfish men to pose an artificial predominance over the weaker section. In the Kali Yuga or in the age of quarrel, this artificial predominance is already current, but the saner section of the people know it well that the divisions of castes and orders of life are meant for smooth social intercourse and high thinking self realization, and not for any other purpose. Herein, the statement of Bhagavatam that the highest aim of life or the highest perfection of the institution of Varnashram Dharma is to cooperate jointly for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलम् श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतसे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये। नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रा सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So, seeking blessings of all the devotees that I can render some service and speak as per my realization and don't make any mess. This topic of Varnashram somehow comes back whenever my turn comes to give Bhagavatam, and this is the topic I find little difficult, but still I will try to share based on what I have heard and read. So, Atah Pombir Duja Srestha. The verse begins with the word Atah, therefore. So again, this is a conclusion. So that means there has been sufficient discussion on this in the previous slokas, and we found that the last sloka, when that topic was there, seriously inquisitive, that was telling about the quality of a person who wants to make spiritual advancement. He should be seriously inquisitive. So there, Prabhupada was mentioning various points, and the conclusion was that with Shraddha and serious inquiry, one should learn about spiritual life. And then there were those series of slokas which talked about dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho arthayo upakalpate narthasya dharma ekantasya kamo labhaya hi smita kamasya na indriya priti labho jivete yavata jivatsya tattva jigyasa narthayasya karma bhi. That was telling that dharma is meant for sorting the problem of material existence, which what is that? Pavarga. And opposite of that is apavarga. That is the purpose of dharma, and not just accumulating wealth. And someone who is already doing such ultimate dharma, he will attain material benefits somehow or other. There will be material benefits. He will get artha. So that artha should not be used for indriya priti or satisfaction of lusty desires only. And then the next sloka says, Kamasya na indriya. All of us have desires, and those desires should not be directed only for sense gratification. That means we can desire Krishna's desire. We can rise above, we cannot eliminate desire, but we can switch the desire that I will fulfill the desire of Krishna. As Krishna says, Arjuna, Nimitta Matra Bhava Savya Sachi. You become my instrument. I have already killed the Kauravas. You just have to be the instrument, and success is yours. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that Prithvite Jato Ache Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Hoive Mera Naam. It's a done activity. Just someone has to become the instrument, and we will find success. Similarly, making God's desire as our desire, that is the purpose of Kama. Kama Sena Indra Priti, and that verse specifically says, use the desires to inquire. Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa, na artha Labho Jivete Yavata. Just live in a very simple way, save time for Krishna consciousness, and don't do atyahar and unnecessarily get in the trap of pavarga, parishram, phena, vyarthata, bhai, and finally mrityu. And therefore, in this way, lead life. And what is that tattva? We find that was discussed. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yas jnanam advayam brahmati paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabdate. And one should inquire about that tattva, which is nothing, which is realized in three stages: Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Based on the capacity of the seeker, one realizes different aspects of the absolute truth. And that search for absolute truth should be a constant aim. And therefore, one should become a seriously inquisitive student. That was the last sloka. And this verse concludes that, in fact, this is the goal of Varnashram. So, Varnashram uh, and bhakti. So the perfection of varnashram is Krishna consciousness or Hari Toshanam. When this verse I was reading Hari Toshanam, a similar verse comes satisfaction. Toshanam means pleasing or satisfying Hari. Bhakti means satisfaction of Krishna. A similar verse was there in one of the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. मन्ये धनाभिजन रूप तपस्सुतोज तेजो प्रभाव बल पौरुष इंद्रियाणाम यद्यज्जन भवन्ति परस्य पुंसो भक्त्या तुतोष भगवान गजयूथ पाया. It says तुतोष भक्त्या तुतोष भगवान. Krishna is pleased by bhakti. So therefore, while doing the activities of four varnas and four ashramas and being engaged in the details of those things, if someone forgets to please Hari, then his works are srama evahi kevalam. Na utpadiyadiratim visvaksenu kathasuya srama evahi kevalam. If after doing all the work, if we don't develop taste, then we should not take pride of doing our things. If I am doing very nicely cooking, if I am doing very nicely management, if I am doing very nicely counseling, if I am doing very nicely preaching, if I am doing very nicely even the activities of Krishna consciousness, but at the end my ruchi is not increasing, that means there is something missing in those activities. And that's what is said, mechanical practice and heartful devotional practice. So when we forget the aim of the activities, those activities will either remain activity of bodily maintenance, or they will just be fulfillment of our hidden desire, or a load. It will become a load. So either it will appear like a big burden, we somehow want to get it done and finish it, and we will not look for quality. Because bhakti means we want to do our best. It's therefore I have seen some devotees, they will say that what we are doing, we are not able to give Krishna plates of gold. Krishna should be served in golden plates. So it is not that by having a gold plate and offering it, we become our devotion increases. But actually, the devotion is giving rise to this sense that we can offer Krishna in a gold plate. So this is the activity of offering, but along with that, there is heartfelt devotion is also there. But when heartfelt devotion is not there, it just becomes. So all these things of varnashram dharma, they can be a great distraction when the aim is not taken care. And therefore, these four aspects, four varnas, four ashramas, the goal is this. And this should not be artificially used to create a sense of discrimination. Because I am giving class or I am into preaching, I am a greater devotee than someone who is doing some back-end services. Or when early days when we came, one time His Grace Daoji Prabhu told us, devotee means when it is required, he can become Sudra and clean the toilet. When it requires, he can become a Brahmana and give classes. When it requires, he should do management, become Kshatriya. And when it requires to save money, he can become Vaishya also and save Krishna's money. So that is the higher purpose of Varnashram. If that is not remembered, the activities will miss the main thing in that. So here Prabhupada writes, these four castes and four orders of life, they are natural. कहाँ पता है? This institutional function of human society is known as the system of Varnashram Dharma, which is quite natural for the civilized life. So these four castes and four orders, they are not an imposition by some people. It exists naturally. So if it is guided by the system of Varnashram according to scriptures, then there can be a harmonious society. So basically, social structure has different models, and Sanatan Dharma gives Varnashram as the model. People in different parts of the country, they are coming up with some system of survival. people of different varieties, they are living together, and they are coming up with some system by which they will live. So some people are calling it communism, some people are calling it capitalism. In the Ishopanishad Mantra 1, that verse is there, Ishavashyam idam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita maghrita kasya svidhanam. So that verse says that everything is owned by and controlled by the absolute truth, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, one should accept only that quota that belongs to him, set aside by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and do not encroach in others' property. That is the art of living in this world. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that what Prabhupada is hinting here is recognizing the ownership of everything that exists around us, including our own selves. We are not independent, we are dependent on God. And therefore, that recognition happens through a system of varnashram. So just like Brahmanas are there during my Bhakti Shastri courses, one of the point was made, that was taught to us was this, that Brahmanas are like the middlemen between the people of this world and the transcendental world. So they are bringing the spiritual information and the message of God, and they are transferring it to the human society. And Kshatriyas are helping it in this mission. So they are upholding that message. So the Brahmanas are like God in earth, but they are not God. They are God's messenger. That's the meaning of that word. That they are God in earth. That is not equal to God. And so they are. I forgot the name. Some what Brahmadev or something like that. Bhudev. They are Bhudev. They are the gods in Bhuloka because they are bringing the message of God. And Kshatriyas help the Brahmanas preach and share this message. That was the role of Kshatriya. And Vaisyas are helping. So therefore, Prabhupada and also there are in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks to Arjuna that how what are the qualities of Brahmanas, what are the qualities of Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and how Sudras means they are assisting the upper three classes. So they are all having a very beautiful harmony. When that harmony is lost, that can only happen when in any of the layer there is Indriya Priti, as Prabhupada mentions. When a Brahmana uses Indriya Priti, then he will become corrupt. He will say that he is not qualified, give me more donation, and they will have total corrupt way of functioning. Just like we see that we have heard that a Brahmana is not a person who takes salary. In fact, one of the qualities of Sukhdev Goswami, when it was mentioned, it is written that he will not even go to the same house twice for bhiksha, and whenever he will go for bhiksha, he will only stay for as long as the time taken for milking a cow. That was his stay. So a Brahmana, a Bhikshu vritti, that is not basically Bhikari Panthi. Bhikari Panthi, beggars are not basically the Bhikshu Pantha. That is their independence. They are independent. They are not dependent on someone's salary. They are philosophically inclined. They have access to higher truths of life, and they are very much connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are doing their regular sadhana. That is Brahminical culture. So when they become corrupt, what they will do? They will start using their position to appear as something higher, which Prabhupada is telling here. That the fall of this system happens when, due to Indriya Priti, one tries to dominate other. So I am a preacher, therefore, I am supposed to receive some more facility. I am a donor, therefore I am supposed to receive more facility. I am a cook, therefore I should deserve the most credit. This credit mongering is not appreciated. Prabhupada gives the example of that five senses going on strike. So we generally hear many things spoken by Prabhupada and we assume we have understood. But recently, I again meditated on that example, but it has a very deep meaning. Like the story goes like this: the senses are having a meeting first of all. The legs, hands, eyes, tongue, they're having a meeting, and everybody is trying to conclude that who deserves the credit of our healthy life. So hands are telling, because I bring the food, it is me who deserves the maximum credit. The eyes are telling, how can you eat if I don't show you what to eat? If I close the eye, how will you go towards the food? And the legs are telling, you fools, If I do not work, then what will happen? No, none of you can even reach the destination where the food is present. At least you have to go to the prasadam hall and take the thali. So to walk to the prasadam hall, you have to walk. So if the legs are not there, how will you walk? And finally, the tongue, it becomes as if the greatest service is done by the tongue is telling you all are fools. You may bring the food, you may take us to the food, you may show us the food, but if I don't taste and only allow it to stay in the mouth, the body will suffer. And so therefore all of them were therefore having a fight for the credit. Who deserves the maximum credit? I am. So if a brahmana is telling that I am running the society, kshatriya is telling, and that's what happens. When Kshatriyas become corrupt, Parsuram had to take the Farsa, Kartavir Arjuna. When similarly Brahmanas can get corrupt, and we can see that the fall of Brahmanas happening in the Kali Yuga. And in Kali Yuga, the Vaisyas are thinking that we are running the society. Who has the money? He is the leader. It doesn't matter how you get the money or what are your qualifications. I think in some class we heard that Kali Yuga is symptomized by success in Kali Yuga is symptomized by access to money, accumulation of money, how wealthy one is. So Vaisyas are thinking in Kali Yuga that we are the supreme like that. So nothing like that. So this fight between the senses, they come to a very awkward conclusion that say, wait, we are all fighting. But look who is enjoying the food. It is the stomach. The stomach is enjoying the food. So better teach the stomach a lesson. And what they are doing? Let us go for a strike. We will not work. I will do my business. You do your business. What is the business? Laziness. Let us sleep and do nothing. And the result was finally the body became weak. The hands are feeling weak, and there is pain in hand. There is pain in legs. The eyes are not able to see anything because eyelids need some strength to open, and the tongue is thirsty, hungry. Please put something, and then the stomach tells them that you all fools, don't you understand that all of you are working in harmony to serve the stomach, but ultimately the benefit is coming back to you. Of course, Prabhupada gives this example to prove yatha taror mool nisechanena, that if someone waters the root, all the twigs and the branches are satisfied. Similarly, the same thing can be applied here also. When Hari Toshanam is not happening, then the following Varnashram is just a different type of distraction. If we are teaching someone how to balance his life very nicely or do well in their profession, but at the end we are not telling them to chant Hare Krishna or teaching them Krishna consciousness, then we may tell that we have helped him in the Varnashram, but we cannot claim that we have done preaching. So preaching means we must tell them Hari Toshanam, that the purpose of existence is satisfying Lord Hari, and that's what is that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. These castes are classified in terms of one's work and qualification, not by birth. That means if someone is displaying the qualities of Brahmana, he should be given such type of engagement. Otherwise, he will be dissatisfied. So we can see this type of dissatisfied state of existence, because these are natural thing. Person, what is Brahmanical quality? Basically, uh, we can understand it by some people are having an intellectual inclination. They have a research type of tendency. They want to go deep and study and all these things. So this is Brahmanical quality. Now, if such people are forced to do work under some company and take some salary monthly, so they will not feel happy. If they are given some task to do some research, PhD, etc., so they may feel some relishment. Similarly, someone has Kshatriya mentality, so they will have desire to manage things, control things, administrative work, and if they are not, they are forced to become engineers. They will feel worse. They will feel very disturbed. Similarly, those who are have a strong Vaishya pravritti, they will never settle with some company. They will keep on switching from one company to another. At the end, they will confirm that I should do some business because they have business mentality. Wherever they will go, one boy was telling me, Prabhuji, in the train I met a person, and he happened to be a मिल ओनर जो पिसता है. तो entire journey I was talking him from where you get the chana, from where you get the chola dal, from where you get the rice, and how much is the transportation cost, and how at what rate you sell. and those who buy it, are the regular customers. So I cannot release this type of discussion for long. मेरे को बहुत लोड होगा. And this boy was telling that प्रभु, तो I only see scope. जहाँ भी जाता हूँ हमको market दिखता है. When I come in college, I see big market. And he started printing T-shirts and selling T-shirts. And then I was asking him, how did you print T-shirt? Where did you get cloth? Because there are so many T-shirts being sold by so many other companies. He said, Prabhu, I went to Lucknow. My God, how did you go in such a short time? प्रभु चना भिंगा लिया और कपड़े में डाल लिया, स्लीपर में चढ़ गया. तो हमको तो पहुंचना था वहां पे, सारे मिल ओनर के पास जाना था, कहाँ पे सबसे सस्ता में बेस्ट मिलता है कपड़ा, डील करना था हम लोग के. तो लॉजिस्टिक्स का खर्चा. तो प्रभु वो तो जो एसी कोच का अटेंडेंट होता है, जो तकिया देता है, उसको 100 रुपया दे देना होता है और वो आपका माल लेके आ जाएगा. ऐसे करके मेरा ट्रांसपोर्टेशन बहुत कम पैसे में हो गया. And then I could sell it. Pure businessmen. This type of people, they cannot be happy doing anything other than business. But the parents sometimes force. No, you have to become doctor. No, you have to become. You have to crack UPSC. And then finally, people crack their heads and become frustrated. So this is regarding the four varnas. Similarly, there are four ashrams of life. This is also natural. There is a age where people are calling themselves student. There is an age people are calling themselves married or householders. And there is an age people want to retire and they retire. Of course, the last one is not much voluntary in Kali Yuga. That is devotional life or sannyas or one plus. These two parts are not much seen. But perverted version is there. And after retiring, they do spend time in the beach with their grandchildren or reading newspaper, playing golf, just spending time somehow or other, and very free. So this is a perverted version of the actual Brahman. What is that? Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanprastha, and Sannyas. I remember the Kailas story here. Kailas in his childhood, in his student life, Narad Muni approached Kailas. Why don't you come with me and go to Vaikuntha? I have a straight wild card entry. Come with me. I wonder if that thing happened to me, I would have gone probably, but because I will not go, probably that is not happening. Anyway, Narad Muni came and told him, and what was his reply? This is college time, let me get a job first, and my exams are coming anyway, I want to prepare properly for the exams. And Narad Muni says, okay, fine, I will come later because you are so busy in your studies and everything. But get settled first. So Narad Muni gives a promise, I will come according to your desire when you get settled. So Narad Muni comes to him when he is working. He says, can you come to Vaikuntha now? He says, no. This is not the right time. I just got the job, but now I have to fulfill the purpose of job. That is what? So getting a good wife and family. Someone was sharing that if should I say or not? He was sharing that this guy was telling that if you have a beautiful wife and some beautiful children and beautiful a lot of bank balance, that is heavens for you. What else do you want? Life's mission is fulfilled. But this is not mission fulfilled. This is mission distracted. So Haritoshanam, when it is missing, it is mission distracted. Same thing happening with Kailas. So he was telling that let me get married first and have some children, and after that I can give. Already have taken the father's business, and I will hand it over to my children, and then you can come again. And Kailas moves on. He gets married. He has children. Again, Narad Muni comes. Now, can you go to Krishna, Vaikuntha? Now your family is there. You told that you will go. Kailas says, no. अभी तो बच्चे को बच्चा के लायक करना है. I want to grow him so that he also becomes father. They are so neophyte. And he says he must get married, he must get a job, proper job, and let them get settled in their business properly. And then finally they grow, they get job, they get wife, they get children. And he is now retired. Narad Muni comes. Now you want to go back to Godhead? Please come with me. And he says, no time. Because these children are so useless. they do not know how to manage my property, and therefore I have to guide them. So much big farms, so many lands I have purchased with a lot of hard work, with my business money, and they are just wasting it with their ignorance. I did the hard work and they're wasting my hard work. So please, no, come later. I will come with you next time when you come. Next time Narad Muni comes, Kailas is not available in human form. Kailas, where are you? And some dog comes barking. I can't do the acting now. In different classes, I do that. So Narad Muni comes and the dog comes barking, and Narad Muni says, he introduces, I am the dog Kailas. So what happened to you? So what happens with everybody else? I became a dog because of not taking care of spiritual life. But don't worry, I have not given up hope. I am very hopeful that I will go with you. But please spare some more time, because still there are so many cows and goats here who come to ruin the fields. I protect the field from these animals. So please come little later. I have hope that I will go back to Godhead. Once these sons of mine, they will become more mature. And then Narad Muni becomes upset. He goes back. I know what happens after that. Next time Narad Muni comes, dog form is not available. Kailas is not available in dog's body. Now he is available in snake's body. And he comes with a hissing sound. Narad Muni, this is Kailas. And Narad Muni says, what happened to you? Now you have degraded so much. And then Narad Muni says, now Sam Dam Bhed happened, ab Dand is only remaining. Ab Dand diya jaye isko. Hey, आओ इधर आओ. And all the grandchildren, sons, daughter-in-law, everybody comes with whatever weapon they had in their hands, and they were beating the snake to death. And finally, Kailash died, and Narad Muni then took him back to earth. So His Grace Radhasyam Prabhu teaches the lesson. These four sections of human life, student, in a very understandable way, he says the first part of life is meant for uh, learning. Learning था ना, हाँ, learning. One should learn, and second part of life means earning, but not just money. That also means earning spiritual qualities. And third part of life is uh, attach and detach. That now you should gradually attach with Krishna and gradually detach with your material responsibility. And the fourth part of life is preparing and praying. Prepare and pray. I remember properly now. Learn and grow. That is the first part, first 25 years of life. And then engage and earn. Engage in not just your occupational duties, also spiritual duties. And don't just earn money, also earn spiritual qualities. And then the third part, attach and detach. And the final fourth part is prepare and pray. Now, next life is knocking. Anytime the door may open and we may be dragged outside of this particular room or this particular life. So let us prepare for that next life. So that is how he was telling, and that is what basically the four orders of life are meant for. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanprasth, and finally, Prabhupada here he doesn't say the word sannyas or renounced order of life. He writes here devotional. कहाँ गया? A life of devotional service, the life of student life, householder's life, retired life, and the devotional life. So basically, concentrated Krishna conscious activities. One should not drag the responsibilities till the last breath of life. One may die thinking about, as Prabhupada gives the example, one meal owner is thinking about the meal before the death, and he becomes a rat in the same meal. When the aim of life, that is realization of the absolute truth, is missed by too much attachment for Indriya Priti, as already discussed herein before, the institution of Varnashram is utilized by selfish men to pose an artificial predominance over the weaker section. Day before yesterday, one student was asking, he was having a wrong understanding about this Varnashram and all these things. He was telling that if someone is poor and how can we expect him to chant God's name and all? So he was confusing poverty with Sudra. So anyone can become poor. A Brahmana can also be poor. We have heard in Mahabharata Dronacharya was so poor before getting employed by Bhishma Pitama. And then we have seen how even Kshatriyas like the Pandavas, they accepted poverty. Before that Yaksha Prashna event, I came to know that they were not getting any water body properly to drink. So they were thirsty like anything. And in that scenario, basically, they came across a water body, and then Nakul Sahadev wanted to fetch water for the brothers and Mother Kunti, but somehow that happened. So even they went through poverty. So Kshatriyas, so there is no connection between being poor and being a Shudra. Even a Shudra can be rich, and that is what is happening in Kali Yuga. And a Brahmana can be poor. So there is no such connection. It's not such artificial thing. It's natural. So one should not misunderstand these four caste and four orders as something unnatural. But Prabhupada is, or Srimad Bhagavatam tells how this natural can be connected with the supernatural. What is natural? Varnashram existence is natural. What is so? This is like aparadharma and savai pumsam paro dharma. Yato bhakti adhokshaje. 1.2.6. That was or 7, 6 I think 1.2.6 it was mentioned. So Prabhupada is telling the aim is Haritoshanam. If Haritoshanam is the aim, then it is perfection. Otherwise, it is missing. And what is Haritoshanam? It is not that doing Varnashram is the cause of Haritoshanam. This is another one, it can be a misunderstanding. Haritoshanam can happen by the activities of Bhakti. Bhakti basically satisfy Krishna because Bhakti is in the heart of devotees and Bhakti is in the heart of Srimati Radharani, and that is what Krishna, the only thing that Krishna can get attracted to. So when one does bhakti along with varnashram, or a state of system is required so that one can, the purpose is peacefully one can execute Krishna consciousness and not peacefully execute sense gratification. That is not the purpose of a very orderly existence. So when that aim is missed, it is a distraction. It is a big distraction. So one should know. Therefore, in the discussion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, "What is the highest sadho siddhi, sadhana and sadho? What is the highest sadhya or achievement, and what is the highest process for that sadhana?" So first thing was this Varnashram told. It was told by Ramananda Rai that Varnashram is the sadhana and it is the highest thing. It will award liberation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said no, it is external. No, he rejected it, and then he went on to Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, or even. I was surprised. He says Sarva Dharman Parityajya from Bhagavad Gita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that is also external. So I was little doubtful. What is going on? I asked Prabhuji that Prabhuji, this is little heavy. Because the topmost philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling that this is external. How is it so? So Prabhu explained very nicely that in that verse there is a sense of giving up something. Therefore, it is external, as according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts accepting the sadhana from Santaras. Someone's pleasing Krishna in Santaras, that is the basically pure bhakti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't entertain any mixture. Any mixture. If someone is telling, I have to give up the bad and then do bhakti, then there is some element of giving up something. There is some existence of that bad thing. So even that existence is not accepted as pure devotion. So therefore, bhakti and varnashram, but varnashram is not the cause of bhakti. The activities of bhakti only can cause bhakti. Therefore, basically, what indirectly this verse is telling, while doing varnashram, do not compromise the activities of Krishna consciousness. One may be very nicely taking care of the family, one may be very nicely doing his professional family life, professional life, or every all other activity, but there should be simultaneously Krishna consciousness, sadhana, chanting that Srila Prabhupada has given us. That is very, very important. You know, in 2019, His Holiness Navayogendra Maharaj was giving class, and he was telling for Grihasthas giving 50% salary is the only way one can be free from karma. And everybody was in shock. Someone raised hand and asked a very long question. And Maharaj said, "What are you doing? First tell me that. No, what do you do?" He said, "I am a chartered accountant." He said 50%. He said, "Maharaj, no more question." And then everybody was laughing. Maharaj said, "Hey, I'm not joking. If you don't give 50%, you will be implicated by your karma. That money will create trouble for you. Why don't you understand?" But these are very heavy things to apply. 50%, 50%. Whoever is telling 50%. Everybody, nobody dared ask questions, and some of us who were laughing, Maharaj was telling, "Hey, kya kar raha hai?" Don't you understand? This is the most important thing I'm telling you now. So yes, when someone is just doing these activities and imagining that now professional life is sorted, family life is sorted, now let me sleep comfortably. That is not the purpose of this. So therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says accepts Krishna conscious activities as the activities of bhakti, and therefore in that prayer of Prahlad Maharaj he says manya dhanavijana rupa tapah srutoja. I believe that these things such as money, beauty, uh, manye dhana bhijana, and relatives, family members, influence, tejo prabhava, bal, strength, influence, and a lot of followers, and knowledge of Shrutis and Smritis, all these things together, I am very doubtful whether it will create bhakti, whether it will please Krishna. Yatyat jana bhavati parasya pumso. So whatever people will be doing for pleasing the God, with the help of these things, I am very doubtful about these things. But surely he is pleased by bhakti just like Gajendra did. Now, which part of Varnashram we can fit Gajendra? So we can see here pleasing Krishna is so easy that even Bhagavatam has all the varieties of examples, whether an asura or an animal. There are so many examples. But, Gajendra is an elephant and he could please Lord Krishna. So nobody can give the excuse that I am so absorbed in my occupational duties and my other various duties related to Varnashram, whatever ashram or Varna one is, that I don't have time for spiritual activity, then he's cheated. Then it is going, what the only thing going on is Srama Evahi Kevalam. So these are the few things I wanted to share. Thank you. अतः पुंभिर्द्विज श्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रम विभागश स्वनुष्ठित धर्म से संसिद्धिर हरितोष्ण हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जगत गुरु शील प्रभुपाद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे।